But I never like looked at a comedian. I was like, I want to be like them. I want to have the trajectory of life that they had. I want to have like, because I feel like if you do that, then you kind of just start sounding like that comedian, and you want to have your own voice.
You want to be authentic, right? Tell us a little bit about your fitness journey.
I never heard you're fat, you're chubby growing up, even though I for sure was. Senior year of high school, I literally ended up weighing like 325. What's like the biggest I weighed? And I was 18 years old. And I was like, oh shit, like I can't. And that's when like the first time my mom was like, you're fat. Until I was like 325, and it was like, I think I gotta stop this lie that I'm telling this kid. And one of my cousins was like, you know, a really good place to meet women is at a gym. And I'm like, oh yeah, interesting enough. And I'm like, I didn't really take it because of that, but that's kind of like,
sure,
either you're that guy at the sauna or you've been dealing with that guy before.
Of course.
I'm in the sauna, and then this like, just like that dude that just like walks in, everybody's sweating, they're either on their AirPods, they're going through it, they're like dying. And this dude is just like, you know, yeah, man, just got the new realtor job. And I'm like, what the fuck? You're just starting a conversation off bat? Like our balls are basically like touching right now.
Like we were actually in a male beauty contest like 3 months later.
A male beauty contest?
Yes, I swear to God.
Let's get to that.
Yeah, everything seems like normal.
Yeah.
You know? I show up and he picks me up and he takes me to Eddie Murphy's house, and it's about to get even wilder.
Let's go, dude.
All right, so
I'm ready. We put the glasses back on for this one.
I know,
dude.
right? I'm like, wait a minute, you know, I need to get paid. Like, what's up? And then he's like, oh, no, we'll take care of that, you know, later. And I'm like, no, I don't work like that. Like, I need to get paid now. And he literally starts telling me how
oh shit.
He's like, if you, then you'll be the next Brad Pitt in Hollywood. He's like, I guarantee you. And
bro,
but it gets even deeper. So. First of all, thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
This podcast, you can ask my wife. Before I left the house, I was like, I'm excited to do this.
I'm excited too.
Like, I was really pumped
because I enjoy getting my ass kicked mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like,
but I feel like you're one of the few people that can like handle it, and then also like reciprocate my energy. You know what I mean? Dude. Like, you come with it and come right back in it. So I want to start out by saying. So one of my employees came back from the comedy club in Doral. Okay. And was like, bro, the whole show was about legacy. And I was dying out laughing. I was
on Friday?
And apparently he did the cold plunge.
Oh, the cold plunge bit always works.
The cold plunge bit is great.
Thank you, dude. Like, that bit is it's still to this day, like, I do that anywhere.
I spill water.
You did, dude. I like that. Shout out to the cold plunge.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It is freezing cold also. It's the temperature of this water is as cold as the cold plunge is.
Probably colder.
I know.
But that was like, for me, it was funny because when we were doing it, I was dying out laughing of just me and you in there doing it. Oh, and then the fact that you turned that into a bit.
Oh, dude, I had to.
Is great.
That's still, I swear to God, I open with that joke to this day.
Really?
Like, not open all the time, but like I do that like in like no matter where I'm at, even if it's Miami, New York, LA, Texas, like it works just as good, even though the punchline is literally just the word Republican, which we don't have to get to if we don't want to. But you know, I don't even know how I said that joke once, like. I basically wrote that joke on stage. Like I was just because I was like, I don't know, like
was it like a freestyle?
Yeah, because I was like at a show at the beach, and it was like one of these like shows in Miami. Because like, you know, in Miami and comedy in Miami is kind of like you are at the Improv, or you're doing shows at like different venues that are like bars, hotels, whatever. So it was like one of these shows, and I was like, just gotten out of the cold plunge. Like that was like back in like, I don't know, July, August of last year. And it legitimately was like, this is like an insane thing. And I was like, let me talk about this. And I talked about it, and that kind of same way, shape, or form came out. And I was like, oh shit, this is good. Cause like that's the joke that got the most laughs that night. And I had written jokes that I had from like, you know, years of writing. So I was like, oh, this is something.
No, I mean, it's great. It's great.
Dude. And I did talk about legacy during the set.
Yeah, no, you said
because
it like,
I didn't even mean to, dude, because it wasn't like a sponsored legacy show,
right.
dude. And I had 3 sponsors that were like, you never said our name, dude. And I said legacy like 4 times in the show. But that's because I was like, oh, dude, I was like talking about Wynwood, and I was like I go to the gym, I go to Legacy, and I was like, why did I just say the gym I go to like in front of these 300 people? Which I post on my page, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But I was like, and that's like, that was the joke.
Does comedians have y'all stalkers?
Sometimes, but stalkers are weird with comment. Like, at least like the types that I have. I guess I haven't. Whenever I get to an even bigger platform, it'll get bigger. But like, you know, you'll get people that are just like, not stalkers, but dudes that would just hit you up and be like, "Yo, what do you think of this joke?" And then, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I saw you were here, dude. Maybe I can like, do you mind if I like go with you?" And like, it's like shit like that. No one goes all the way to like, you know, go inside of like, maybe I have stalkers here, dude, and I don't even know, and they just join Legacy to work out with me and sweat with me. Probably. Who knows? Yeah,
probably.
But yeah,
I know you've had some interesting times in the sauna too, as well. You did a bit on that as well.
I have, bro. The sauna is I think it's just, and I think I've seen the person that I based that sketch off multiple times since I've been here.
Really?
And it feels a little weird because he follows me, so I kind of feel.
You probably know.
It's the person, you know, either you're that guy at the sauna or you've been dealing with that guy before.
Of course.
Which is the guy that gets in the sauna. Most people are naked, they're just wearing underwear. And they just start sweating.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
you've gotten in there and people have been naked. Is that
no with underwear? Most people.
Okay, all right,
Tiger. I meant all.
There's no
people.
Nudity here at Legacy. All right?
That's right. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm in the sauna, and then this like just like that dude that just like walks in. Everybody's sweating. They're either on their AirPods. They're going through it. They're like dying, and this dude is just like. You know, yeah, man, just got the new realtor job. And I'm like, what the fuck? You're just starting a conversation off bat. Like our balls are basically like touching right now, you know? So it's like, it's that dude that just keeps talking while you're just trying to focus and sweating. And, you know,
I tell people all the time, it's a confessional.
It is kind of a confessional.
Now, every single time I get in there, someone just spills all their beans.
All the beans, dude.
All the beans.
It's crazy. I think it's the heat that lets your like mind be like, let it out.
Just let it go.
Detox, literally, emotionally.
Let's detox the body and the mind.
Exactly.
People just get to talking and talking and talking
nonstop. But I mean, I love it. I think it's cool. It's like it's an interesting way to like.
When did you tell us a little bit about your fitness journey? When did you say? How old are you, if you don't mind me?
28. Yeah.
So you're a young child.
Thank you. That's what I like to hear.
Just a baby. And when did you say to yourself, you know what? I need to get my ass in shape.
Well, I in high school I was always a fat kid, but my mom never called me fat or chubby. I was always just like strong or fuerte. I was like, look at my little strong boy, you know, like I was like, my mom is still proud of my thighs to this day. She's like, look at those strong thighs. But so like I was never like, oh, I never heard you're fat, you're chubby growing up, even though I for sure was. And then like I got to high school and I started like, there was a Chick-fil-A next to my high school.
Oh, wow.
And Chick-fil-A / Taco Bell, which I had never seen before. It was right next to each other. And they had installed it in like sophomore year, which is not a thing. It wasn't like it was a joint branch. It was just the two restaurants happened to be right there. And then I would go there after school. Even though I had like my lunch, I would eat like Chick-fil-A, I would eat Taco Bell, like every single day. And like senior year of high school, I literally ended up weighing like 325. What's like the biggest I weighed? And I was 18 years old. And I was like, oh shit, like I can't, it's just not it, you know? And that's when like the first time my mom was like, you're fat. Until I was like 325. And it was like, I think I got to stop this lie that I'm telling this kid. So that happened. And like my mom would tell me and I wouldn't really listen. My family would tell me I wouldn't really listen. And then I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like at this family reunion. And one of my cousins was like, you know, a really good place to meet women is at a gym. And I'm like, oh yeah, interesting enough. And I'm like, I didn't really take it because of that, but that's kind of
sure.
I don't know why that really was the one that was like, oh, maybe, yeah, okay. And then I started going to the gym. Yeah, this was 10 years ago, like in 2013, 2014. I went to LA Fitness first. It was like the first thing I did. And in LA Fitness, I like took it to I don't mean to shout them out, but it's just the facts of where I was. You know? Right. You could put Legacy on top of that, even though I don't know.
It's all good. We're not ashamed of.
Yeah, you're like there's no competition, bro. Yeah, no one doesn't like LA Fitness. Legacy. Who has a cold plunge in their gym, bro? Exactly. Yeah. No, so I went to LA Fitness and then I started a little bit, like started my like fitness journey in that way. I like would go for like an hour, do a little bit of cardio, do a little bit of like weights. But then I was like, all right, I really got to take this seriously. So I would go for an hour. Mind you, I'm in FIU. I had like a scholarship, so I was getting paid for school. I didn't have a job. I was 18, 19 years old.
What'd you get a scholarship for?
Just like being Hispanic or whatever. No, I'm kidding. It was when you're Hispanic in Miami, number one, and then you also have like you have minimum of the good grades. It FAFSA it helps you a bit.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go to like UF, UCF, or what's this other school? Rochester Institute of Technology, which is like New York.
Okay.
But FIU just gave me the best deal, I guess, per se. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna make money from going to school, basically. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here. Shout out to FIU, go Panthers. But so I did that, and while I was going to FIU, and I was like a freshman, end of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year in college, I then started going like way more religiously. Like I would go an hour of cardio, I would go an hour of weight training, and then I would go an hour swimming. So, or like 30 minutes swimming, really.
Okay.
So I was at the gym for like 2 hours and a half, but I was just like, would go to class, go to the gym, go to class, go to the gym. And then I literally lost like 100 pounds in nine months.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, I had like 215.
Were you doing any comedy at this point?
No.
Okay.
I started doing comedy when I was 22. So I always wanted to. I always wanted, like, comedy was always my passion, even from before, like while I was in high school. Like I was like always obsessed with comedians and just like sitcoms, and just like the idea of comedy as a whole was always like on top of mind for me. And then eventually when I ended up losing the weight and like lost like those 100 pounds, I was also doing this thing called the military diet, which is like you like eat 3 meals a day, but they're like extremely restricted, and it's like 600 calories at the end of the day, which is like you're eating like a piece of toast for breakfast and a boiled egg, and then like the lunch is very...
So you're starving yourself.
You're basically starving, but like the rest of the week you can eat normally, like still not heavy, but normally. So I did that for those 9 months in 2014, lost the weight. And then I asked this girl out that I was like obsessed with in high school. And I like had waited, and I was friend zoned forever. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna get this girl now that I'm like fucking looking like this, dude.
Right.
So I asked her out, and then like she said yes. We started going out. And during that time period, then I found improv classes at this place called Just the Funny. This is like down the road. It was like 2016 at this point that I found the classes. I was already...
What was it called?
Just the Funny. It's still around.
Just the Funny?
Yeah. It's like it's very on the fucking nose.
Yeah.
But I took classes there like for forever. And I would still go to the gym, but I was like, oh, I feel like I can like be out and be like a comedian now that I feel like more fit or more like comfortable with my body or whatever. So I did that, and while I was doing... I still stayed working. I didn't have the time because I now had a job, etc. But either way, I always stayed working out in some way, level, shape, or form. Like it's whether I was going to UFit or I was going to like the FIU gym,
right?
Or I was going to another LA Fitness.
So you made it a lifestyle. I made it more of a lifestyle,
even though it might not look like it right now. But you know, it's still a lifestyle. I try to work out at least 5 times a week.
That's amazing.
5 times a week, yeah.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, and then Legacy came into play, and I've been here for the.
When did you find us?
I found you guys. Well, I don't know if you guys found me or I found you guys, but someone from Legacy. Oh, it was the Doral location. That's what it was. The Doral location had hit me up because someone was going to Legacy, and I was involved in I was doing another like set of classes at this other place. And we don't have to
name names.
But you know who it is because I already talked to you about it. And then I was going on those classes. Those classes were great. They also helped me like be fit because like I was fluctuating a little bit, did those classes, and I lost quite a little bit of weight again. Then I found a Legacy, and I stayed a little bit more consistent with it as opposed to just being like a boom, 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 boom. And yeah, I found Legacy. It was like I said, August of 2023. Someone hit me up from the Doral location. I went. I loved it. And then I wanted to get a little bit more out of it because I knew there was more locations, and Doral was a little far. So it worked whenever I did the improv shows, but outside of that, it was really kind of out of the way.
Right.
And then one of your PR girls had hit me up.
That's like
right.
Mariana.
To start working, Mariana, to start doing stuff with the water. And then I was like, I really kind of like want to keep working. And then, ever since I've been going either here or Wynwood or Pembroke Pines.
No, I see you going all over.
I bounce all over, but
great.
I at least try to go find times a week for sure. Shout out to everybody here at Legacy. For sure.
I know, right?
So yeah, dude. But yeah, dude.
That's awesome. Do you feel like fitness helps your path in comedy?
100%.
Yeah.
If I don't work out a day, I feel like I like failed myself.
Okay.
I'm very hard on myself when it comes to shit like that. Like I was the type of kid that would be like, oh, if I like I'd always had like a mini little goal for myself in the day. Like I was like in high school, and I would be like, if I'm the first one to get out of the class in second period, I'm gonna get straight A's this semester, even though it's completely unrelated. But I still do this type of shit like while I work out. Like if I can lift 100 and whatever, like 200 pounds while I'm squatting or whatever, right, then I'll be able to like this joke. I'm gonna sell out this show. Like something completely unrelated, but it's still something that keeps me a little bit like focused, and it lets me stay at something that I'm working towards. Like if I work out in the morning, I'm gonna be more clear. Like at night when I'm performing, like. It all is related. Balance is like super important, I think.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so it does help me a lot, and it gives me material too. Clearly.
Heck yeah.
So it's not.
No,
it's
gyms.
I
tell people all the time, like gym experiences can give you an entire bit. Like
Bro,
there is some.
I'm telling you,
funny
dude.
stuff that happens.
I'm telling you that whole thing I told you about, like with the cold plunge, with the sauna, like those are all things that just like I'm like. This is hilarious. Like I don't know why. Yeah,
no, you're right.
It works, dude.
Yeah, there's some characters too.
I know, bro,
for sure.
Have you ever had somebody like that? You're like you almost has had to kick out because they're like not of a character, but they're like there's weirdos all over. Like we are weirdos ourselves.
Exactly, we're all weirdos. We're all weirdos.
But there's someone that's like a little bit too.
Yeah. Yes, it actually recently.
Weird.
It actually recently just happened.
Right in here?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking my glasses off.
I know, right?
So I wonder if I know this person.
A lot of times, what happens is relationships happen here, right? And so people meet here. It's a great. I met my wife here. You
did?
Yes, I met my wife here.
Nice.
So it's a great place to meet people. We've probably had double-digit marriages. We have legacy babies.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have met at Legacy, got married, and then had babies, or didn't get married and had babies, or you know what I mean? Like whatever. I mean, we've seen affairs here. We've seen the whole thing. I mean, we've been around for 15 years. You're gonna see a lot. We have over 2,000 members. Over 15,000 unique visits a month. Yeah. So it's a lot of people.
That's
right?
A lot of people.
And then what's crazy?
I
think the craziest thing is that I know everything. Like when you're in the gym and you're the owner, like you know everything that's going on. People think you don't, but you know everything. You know everything. For some reason, because again, it's those sauna sessions. It's those
people just feel comfortable DMs. To talk to you, bro.
People just feel comfortable. Next thing you know, they're like telling you their whole story, and then all of a sudden you're connecting dots.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute, are you talking about so and so? And then and that
you're like, so and so talked to me about this last week. Like this is interesting.
Yeah, and then you just start connecting dots, and then I'm a big observer, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, my office is up here, and so I'm observing.
You're literally
observing, and you can start to see people, the way they talk to certain people, their body language, the way they're checking other people out. Like,
dude.
It's really a great environment. Gyms are fun, man.
It's like gyms are fun, dude. Not toxic, but super fun.
Yeah, it can be.
I mean, think about that, bro. You're seeing people at their most vulnerable state, like before, I don't know, sex or taking a shower, which is just like working out and sweating.
Gyms are probably the most sexual places. First of all, in Miami, girls wear nothing to the gym, literally nothing.
Yeah.
And then we're all doing sexual positions. It's like we're humping, squatting,
squat the area,
reaching, stretching. Dude. It's so insane.
It gets horny.
It's wild.
It's like classes there.
You get horny in classes?
No, I don't get horny in classes. Okay. I don't. I try not to. Like I
try not to.
No, in the sense that I if I'm doing something that I'm like, yo, this is obviously like a sex position in some way, shape, or form. I just I think it's funny and I laugh about it.
Okay.
And especially at the Pines location, it's literally me and like 9 other women. So I'm very intimidated when I'm in there, dude. I'm like, let's all just like squat our butts and like
let's do some glute
everybody's just
thrust.
doing my ass right now looks great, let me tell you. But it's just they're all very focused on that.
Right.
But dude, it's there's a lot of like positions where you can feel like and then it's a pit class. So like you're doing it next to the person.
Of course.
Not with the person, but you're doing it next to the person.
Exactly.
So it's like, all right, let's go both.
Right. Exactly.
So I can see that.
Yeah, the hip thrust, the deep squats.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, so yes, I have kicked people out. Back in the day, I used to kick people out of my class, like right in the middle of class.
But for what though?
Like you could just tell they didn't want to be there or they didn't want to do what I told them to do. So I'd just be like, hey, listen,
get out of here.
You don't want to do what I want to do. You don't want to do what I want you to do. So just get out. And
wow.
I was like the soup Nazi, you know, on remember Seinfeld, you know,
no for you.
Like that's how I was like, get out right now. Like
dude, that. No workout for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I literally became like infamous because of it. Like, and then what's crazy, every single person I've ever kicked out of Legacy has always found their way back.
Really?
Either they found their way back like years later, or they found their way to another location. Like it'll be so funny because I'll see somebody like post and I'm like, oh my gosh, I kicked that person out like 6 years ago.
That's hilarious. But that's cool. That's like in a relationship, like when someone doesn't show you that, like, you know, it's not like being like, oh yeah, I don't like you. You like that person even more. So it's like you're gonna want to go back to where they kicked you out of.
Right.
So that makes
There's
sense.
a little jealousy there.
I like that. And they're probably also like, oh, I did it. I got myself back in there.
I know.
You'll never know. Like, they've been planning it for 6 years. Oh, you did.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I kicked this one guy out for using like 4 Groupons. You know, like you ever meet those people that they just try to get around the whole coupon situation?
Yeah, they're just like, oh, what do you mean though?
Back in we don't even do Groupon anymore. But back in the day, we do a Groupon. So it's bring the Groupon in. Yeah. And it was
you got a free class?
It was a discounted 3 classes.
Okay.
And it specifically said on the Groupon for first timers only, you know, first time visitors only.
Got it.
And so people would come in
just
and
comes
they would
disguise, and wear some glasses, a wig.
They would bring the same Groupon and we would literally, the first time you would handle it very nicely. You would be like, listen, normally we wouldn't allow this.
Or ironically, I'm kidding, that doesn't make sense.
Coincidentally, but we would literally be like, be nice about it.
Right.
Because we'd be like, listen, it happens. You know, you didn't read the print that's clear as day on the thing.
For first timers only.
Right here. We obviously understand you can't read, but we'll honor it.
That's right.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
The third time, you get a little attitude. You know, because you feel some type of way now.
Yeah, because you're like, okay,
it's the third time. So you're like, dude, you know what's up.
Yeah.
Like, I've told you this. And one of the times that stands out the most is this guy was yoked. I mean, he had like calves like this, just tattoos, just yoked. And third times, brings in 3 times. So on the third time, I'm like, nah, not gonna work, man. Like, not gonna work.
Straight up, we're like, no, dude.
Nah, not gonna work. And he's getting all mad and all huffy and puffy, you know. And I'm like, you can get mad all you want to, but you're not coming in the gym with this Groupon for the third time, you know. So then I had to kick him out.
Did he pay for it at all, or he was just like, all right, fine.
He started getting attitude. You know,
found a Groupon for another spot.
Right, exactly. So then I see him at the CVS. You know, like when you have these awkward moments, but then you see them out.
But it's like seeing the teacher outside in the real world. You're like,
so crazy. Yeah. You know, and then the way they act is totally different.
They're like, oh my God, what's up?
They're like, oh my gosh, hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
You feel
and
them.
You're like, what the hell? Like, you were just rude as hell to me not even 3 days ago.
Dude.
So it's amazing.
I love that. I love that moment, though. I love putting myself in those awkward situations. Like, I would be the guy that if I did the Groupon thing and I saw you out, I wouldn't hide. I would be like, what's up, man? Like, I just want to I want to know what that's like, because everybody's like just going to evade that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like going for
I would
that
say I'm probably
moment.
the same. If I see somebody that, well, not all the time. Sometimes I'll avoid people. Like, you ever in the grocery store and you see somebody you don't want to see, and you go like the other aisle,
like, oh fuck,
and then all of a sudden you see them again, and you're like,
nothing even happened with that person. You're just like, I don't want to do this right now.
No, yeah, exactly. It's not even a big deal, but you just
like
don't
those conversations that happen
to have a conversation at that moment.
I know, bro.
And then it turns in like a 10-minute grocery store visit to like 60 minutes.
And then you start talking about like the salsa, and it's like, oh yeah, this one's good. And it's like, what are we doing? This is just like a waste of time a little bit.
Right.
But it's you know, life.
So tell me a little bit about what's going on with your life.
Man, life's right good. Now. Life's good. I'm, you know, working out every day.
Yeah.
I go to the Pines location, like I told you now. And as far as like comedy and life goes, it's good. It's going really good. I just had a sold out show on Friday where those guys told you that I basically talked about Legacy for a while. It was really good. It was a little bit like a mixture of like a variety show and a stand-up show. Like, I had a band that played on the show like at the beginning to bring us up on stage. And yeah, I'm working right now on a lot of like different avenues that are not just like stand-up. I'm also like writing and working on like a big project right now that I can't really say much about, but it will be coming out.
Is it like
probably
film,
this year, next
writing?
Year. It's a
show.
Correct. It's a show that I'm writing. That is looking like good.
That's really cool.
And yeah, I'm just working a lot on that. I'm traveling a lot more. this year. I'm going to Austin next week. I'm going to Mexico. I'm doing my first like stand-up show.
So you're doing a show in Austin?
I'm doing a shows in Austin for this festival that's happening over there called Moon Tower Festival. I'm doing some shows with some of my friends.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be in Mexico that weekend doing shows as well, which is the first time I'm doing shows like internationally. But Mexico's where I was born. I lived there
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was born in Mexico, lived there for 10 years. Haven't gone back since like 2016, so it'll be nice to like go back to Mexico, period.
Mexico City?
Mexico City. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So,
I've heard amazing things about Mexico City.
I love it. I legit haven't been in like 8 years, which hurts my soul because I love where I was born.
Yeah.
And I was raised there for 10 years. So it'll be a nice moment to be going back there and like just.
And you're doing a show there?
Yeah, I'm doing shows there in Spanish.
And you do it in Spanish?
In Spanish, yeah.
That's cool.
Dude. Yeah. I've been working on that like Spanish comedy muscle, which is like, it's a little different, but it's still through the throughput of like, you know, comedy and making people laugh. And I talk a lot about my family, and I talk a lot about like how I was raised, like when I do comedy in English. So it translates even better when I do it in Spanish. So it'll be fun to just.
Do you feel more comfortable either way, or could you just?
I feel more comfortable in English for sure.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And I talk fast in English. So like when I talk in Spanish, I noticed this the other day because I did a show. Actually, I have a show in Spanish tomorrow, and I had a show in Spanish on Tuesday here. And I noticed that I talk a little bit like, I talk fast in Spanish too, but I have to slow down when I'm talking in Spanish because it's such a like, the language is just like, I don't know, there's more words, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. Like I realized I was like, oh, I'm talking too fast. Like, and it's just, you got to slow down.
You're too fast in Spanish.
Yeah. And
which I've never heard of.
I know, but
you feel like it's like but
because I'm so comfortable just talking like in like words in English that are like filler words, like dude, bro, like things that are just like filling up that time of that joke. When I'm doing it in Spanish, I have to like force myself to slow down. That's the one thing I've noticed.
Is there an issue with like dialect? Because of all the different dialects?
I think so. Because I'm also
here in Miami.
Yeah, dude. And I also talk like if I'm doing a show and it's like mostly Venezuelans, but I have a Cuban accent, but I can also turn my Cuban into a Mexican accent just naturally. Yeah. So then I'm like, how the fuck do I sound right now? These people probably don't even, I can't pinpoint what accent I'm even doing at that moment because it's just coming naturally,
just like coming out of you.
Yeah, dude. And in English, like I have my normal Miami accent, but in Spanish, dude, I can literally just flow. Like I can be sounding Venezuelan, Cuban, Mexican, Colombian, and I'll just like flow. But that's
good.
Through.
I feel like that's good for your.
It's
art.
good, but sometimes it might feel like a little inauthentic because I'm like, yo, wait, isn't this dude? Didn't this dude just say he was Cuban, but he sounds like this, but now he sounds like that? If I'm not doing it based on a joke and I'm just naturally like switching like that, then I can be like. I force myself to be like, just fucking stick to one unless you're doing like a bit or an accent, like that makes sense within that. But it's cool, man. It's cool. I'm happy where I'm at right now, but I obviously like I'm trying to just keep on expanding, keep growing.
Yeah, what's the goal ultimately? I
mean, honestly, when it comes to just shows in general, just doing theaters, I want to like just keep on working on just not just Miami, but just like I'm gonna be spending a lot more time in New York in the next few months. Also, that it's gonna help in every aspect of my life as well. So I think it's a matter of just keep on growing within my field and putting out more content so that more people come out to go see me, so that more people are gonna be able to be like pitch a show that I'm already building and working on and gonna start filming. It can be sold to like, you know, people that actually are gonna be like, oh, this guy is growing, he's doing this, he's putting stuff on YouTube, he's putting stuff on Instagram, he's putting this, he's obviously like, so, you know, working through that sense, that's like the short-term goal. Obviously long term is like, you know, just being, you know, the best comedian that I can be, just the best comedian out there where I can just do my material, do my story, my mentality, what I think is funny, and just do it through a throughput line, whether it's stand-up, movies, shows, just, you know, what every comedian kind of dreams with this. Right. It's kind of the same thing, but it's true. That's kind of what we all want, just to be able to like be funny with people that we find funny, for people that find us funny. So, and the more people that we can do that with, the better.
Right.
So, yeah.
And who's your biggest influences? Past and present. Like
when I started growing, like when I started getting into stand-up, like the first person I ever watched doing stand-up was George Carlin, which is like a crazy thing as a 13-year-old to watch George Carlin. Right. And I barely really even knew English because I had just come from Mexico, but I remember seeing it like in a Comedy Central like just like playing on Comedy Central, and I was like, what the hell? I had no idea what was going on. Like when it came to that, and I was like, oh shit, this is funny though. Like I get why this is funny. And George Carlin after that became huge on me, and that's why like a lot of the stuff I do is like kind of like it's observational, but it's still like on the throughput line of like being like, why do we do this in a sense? Right. And I try to write that way when I write.
Did you see how they were posting a lot of his old comedy during COVID?
I did.
Because he talked about a lot of like how like people pandemic, would freak out over when big germs and when big things happen. And it was great. Like it was very
Carlin's incredible.
Because you sit there and you can relate to it so much. Like even though he said it years ago, but like
that's why that guy was a genius. Yeah. Bro. Like he was more of like a comic, he was more of like a prophet in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Like what he was saying was like, oh crap. And then like a whole special that he had just on like God and religion and like kind of like turning it down, but in a way that was very like poetic. It was just like awesome.
Yeah.
Recently he had like I don't know if you saw, he had like an AI special that they did. So somebody like put like George Carlin's AI voice and basically did a special on George Carlin, and it was an hour long, and it was like George Carlin talking about in 2024. It was like
really one
of the wildest things I've ever heard. I mean, it's obviously like not the same, but it was like, wow, dude, that's how far we are in technology. That like this
no, it's that AI stuff is wild.
Can happen, dude. But George Carlin was a huge inspiration for me. Louis C.K., what all his like troubles that he's had or whatever, dude, like Louis C.K. was fucking huge for me. Like while I was in FIU and I was like going like in breaking classes, I would just like listen to like watch Louis C.K. like stand up or his show Louis on FX. Like I was watching that nonstop consistently, bro. And I just loved every like the way that he just like would.
And when you watch stuff, like, are you trying to pick up on their like cadence and their timing and or are you just watching it as a fan? Not
on purpose. Back then I was watching it like a fan. Yeah. Like, I wasn't watching it on some like, what is this person doing? That's like, what formula? Why is this setup? The rule of like, I wasn't watching it in that light. Obviously when I got into this even further and like did it professionally, I was doing it in that sense. But I never like looked at a comedian. I was like, I want to be like them. I want to have the trajectory of life that they had. I want to have like, because I feel like if you do that, then you kind of just start sounding like that comedian, and you want to have your own voice.
You want to be authentic, right?
And right now, I can confidently say, like, in my comedy, I don't think I sound like anybody. Like it might sound familiar in some way, shape, or form, like just based on how I write. But like I don't like, I know there's people like I hear them and I'm like, oh, he's doing Dave Attell. Oh, this person's like doing this. Oh, this person's like a Chris D'Elia guy. Oh, this person this. Oh, this person that.
I agree with that, by the way.
Yeah,
I think you do have your own voice, and you even said it like earlier. I think you should lean into the fact that you can talk in different like dialects.
Oh, I do. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, because that makes you who you are.
100.
You know,
like
that's a talent. Like that's a gift. Like not everybody can do it.
I don't see that as a talent myself. I guess it's just because like I'm just.
Well, of course you don't, because you're humble, and then it's how you were brought up.
Yeah.
But as an outsider that first of all can't speak Spanish and have lived here for 21 years, and no one, you know, I mean, hey, listen, that's pretty sad. My dad lived here
for 21 years either, and he doesn't speak English. So
okay, well, there you go.
All good, bro. But like, chilling.
But like, I'm always extremely impressed with bilingual individuals. I always like laugh at how people, like almost make fun of people when their English is not good and or Spanish, but they speak both. And it's like,
bro, that's the shitty part. I was doing comedy with this dude yesterday.
Yeah.
That I know he doesn't speak Spanish, but he has such a thick accent in English that you can barely understand his words. And I'm like, this guy's screwed. Like he has, like you would think like, oh, at least he speaks another language. He speaks it fluently. And it's like, oh no, this is just the default, and it is what it is.
Oh man, that is bad.
Yeah, like if someone speaks badly Spanish and badly English, at least you put them together, it's one good language.
Right,
you know,
right,
like
exactly.
half of what's bad in one is it's like whatever. But if you're,
but most of the time, what I'm trying to say is most of the time you speak one really, really good.
Right.
And then you're off a little bit, and then someone's like making fun of you for speaking bad English when they're fluent in another language.
Spanish.
It's like
someone working out and being like, "Yo, bro, look at this fucking guy. Like he can't even lift, bro."
Right.
And it's like this guy's trying though.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
it's just absurd when it gets
that. Yeah,
like
dude.
That.
So, but I have used that, like the whole like accents. That's the first reason I ever like went viral on the internet, was me doing like different Spanish accents. And that to this day is super surprising. I put that video out and I'm like, how is this even like, why is this doing the numbers it's doing? Like, I didn't think it was that impressive. I did it like, I first posted it as a story, like on my Instagram. And then I was like, let me post this like as a feed post. And then it went crazy. And I was like, Oh, okay. And then I started getting gigs because of that. Like I just filmed a commercial that is literally based entirely on that bit.
I believe it though.
Switching back and forth, because and I was like, oh shit.
It's so real life though.
Yeah, dude.
I've been around Spanish speaking people where you can see that they don't understand each other.
Bro.
Like, for example, as an English speaking person, so in construction, you have to deal with this a lot.
Yeah.
Where people don't speak English. So I'll say, does anybody speak Spanish? And then, so I'll grab, and then somebody will say, I do. And then I'll grab them and say, can you interpret what I'm saying to him?
Translate, yeah.
And then, can you translate? And then I do it, and then the person still doesn't understand what they're saying. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then they start going, oh, well, he's Dominican. And I'm Colombian.
Hilarious, bro.
You know?
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, wait a minute, but you speak Spanish. And he's like, no, it's not the Spanish same.
I speak. It's true, though, dude.
Yeah.
A Dominican guy could be telling you an entirely different thing than a Mexican guy can be telling you. And neither of them could be understanding each other.
That's wild.
Like, ¿qué lo que tú pasa? And like that accent, no one... Dude, a Mexican speaking person definitely does not understand what a Dominican person is saying. I'll tell you that right now. It's tough. It's tough. Like it's
who's and again, we're not trying to pigeonhole anybody, but who's
the worst race?
Exactly. Easy, Tiger.
Yeah.
With my bald hair. It's like careful, the white man saying,
careful,
who's the worst one? No, but seriously.
As we're both in a cold plunge. Who's the worst? Yeah. Go.
But who do you find like the most difficult
to understand?
Oof.
Man, you know what? To me, it's the most difficult, but it's the most fun I have talking to this this type of person. Dominicans, I legitimately sometimes do not understand what they're saying, but anything they say, I'm like, keep saying it. Like it's just so funny the way that a Dominican talks to me. Like I find it incredible. Like
I'm like that with Brazilians. I love listening to Brazilians talk,
bro.
I think it's the most fascinating. And then singing is like
Brazilian singers, yeah.
And Portuguese music is incredible.
I know Portuguese language in general.
It's just beautiful language, fire. And then but it's funny. Like you think they're like fighting. They're arguing, but they're not.
Well, that's most Hispanics, I think. Yeah.
But like Brazilians especially,
are
they just show like intense with it.
Everything's like,
they're very like extra with it, and you're like, is everything okay?
I know, dude.
So when I had a lot of fighters in one of my gyms back in the day, and they would just be like talking, and I would walk up and be like, everything okay? And they'd be like, what, bro?
Yeah.
Monster, chill. What's going on? What? We're fine.
That's awesome, dude. Just like great. In the middle of like sweating, bleeding,
right?
Like, we're good, bro.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, dude.
Especially big old fighters, like they look like they're fighting, literally,
of
like
course.
Arguing. And they're just talking.
They're talking shit to each other.
Yeah,
but they're just like,
shit,
where you get those shorts? And it's like, oh yeah,
right.
You guys love each other,
right?
That's fucking.
This is normal,
the best, dude. Where did you start like working with fighters only? I know that you obviously like were personal trainers are like huge names, like Kevin Durant, all these people. But like, did you start on your own, like training on your own, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna then make this like my whole life thing, or was it fighters at first, or how did you like build this empire?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a 20 plus year story, but the short of it is that I broke my back playing. Well, I broke my back twice, once in high school, once in college. Nice. I thought that I was going to be an NFL football player, and my red shirt junior year in college, I broke my back again. So that was the second time. And then
you were already playing like for a football team?
I was playing at Auburn University in Auburn. And I had to pivot. So I was granted a medical hardship, so I'm allowed to like finish out my scholarship, but as a medical hardship, so not playing football, obviously.
Yeah.
So I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and was assistant strength coach there. And I used my degree, which is exercise science, kinesiology, health promotions. And I started training the football team, the basketball team, and the tennis team. And then a buddy of mine called me. He's like, hey, if you shave your head, and yes, this is when I had hair. Okay, relax.
If you shave your head.
If I shave my head, I know that I can get you a body double job for Bad Boys 2. And shout out I think they're about to release Bad Boys 4, actually.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So I literally shaved my head like 30 minutes later and sent them, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Polaroids back then. I think. I might be aging
Bad
myself
Boys 2, that must have been like what, 2004?
It was 2001.
2001?
2001. So it was back in the day. I'm pretty sure we didn't have cell phone pictures.
No,
I don't think so. So I sent them the picture. I got the job. I had like $2,000.
Who did you double for?
A character named Zank.
Zank was playing by like what?
So remember the opening scene where the character is coming out of the water and you see the back of his head.
That was you?
Yeah.
That's
amazing. And then there's another scene where I'm like lighting a fuse and all you see is my hands. And actually Michael Bay or Michael Mann? It was Michael Bay.
The director, yeah.
Yeah, came in while I was doing that scene and literally started screaming at me saying, if you fuck up this scene, you have to understand the entire movie screen is gonna only see your hands. You know, like that. And then, you know, I had to, and then he's like,
what did you have to do? What did you have to do?
Just light a fuse. That was it.
Light a fuse. Sure, and before you did it, he was already screaming.
Yeah. He was like really intense dude. Like, I think he was, you know, a little bit of that.
I mean, yeah, I've met Michael Bay actually. Yeah. He's kind of an intense dude, but great guy. He came to one of my shows once.
I heard he's great.
He was sick, but I've also heard those type of stories.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. So
wild. That's awesome.
So I had that experience. I was on set for 3.5 months, had my own trailer, you know, that whole nine. So then you think that you're gonna. So this
guy was like the main villain, probably, or one of the villains.
He was a SWAT team guy.
Okay.
So he's actually was funny because he was Cuban.
Oh wow.
And when I met him, he was like really short, and I was like really tall. So I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. But we did look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Like we were actually in a like a male beauty contest like 3 months later.
A male beauty contest?
Yes, I swear to God.
Let's get to that.
Yeah, I know, right?
So you do bad movies.
Pretty weird. Well, before they had like fitness figure competitions.
Yeah.
They started
like where,
these
people
like
put themselves
like where they board shorts
up and shit.
They started doing these like beauty contests here for men. It was really pretty cheesy.
Wow.
But you know, you're new, you're from Birmingham, Alabama, and you're like, I'll do anything to get my name out there.
Yeah.
So, and I won, of course, you know, like
oh, you won?
Yes.
Humble brag. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But
nice, dude.
But then the funny part is that the winner had to go to Atlanta to do another competition, and these gay guys were like, look, you don't want to do this. And I'm like, why? And they're like, it's an only gay competition in Atlanta. And they're like, you really don't want to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then I looked it up, and sure enough, it was like
an only gay competition.
An only gay competition. And I was like, I'm going to pass on that one.
And that was when? When was that, like the competition? Like
around 2002 or something like that.
Oh, wow. So right after the movie.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So anyway, so I moved down here for that. Then I went to Crunch. I walked into Crunch. Another gay guy, met him. Shout out to Scott Hauser.
Nice,
asked for a job to be a personal trainer. He hired me on the spot. Okay. At the time, there was 38 personal trainers at the Crunch on 13th and Washington.
Okay.
I came in, I was the 39th trainer, and in less than 2 months, I had more clients than anybody in the entire gym.
Really?
And it was just because I don't know. I actually don't know why. It just.
You got to know why at this point.
Well,
it was you were personable. You were you push people.
I was not scared to say and act the way I was a very confident person. Very confident person, and I gave consultations, and the next thing I know, I had 17 to 20 something clients.
Wow.
And then a buddy of mine called me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We don't know what to do during the off season. Can we come down and train with you?" And I was like, sure. So TJ Slaughter and Aiken Adele from Jacksonville Jaguars came down, started training with me. Then Jeremy Shockey and a bunch of former University of Miami players started seeing me train. The next thing I know, I had 29 NFL guys that I was training, and then kind of making a name for myself. And so then I moved everybody from Crunch to the Flamingo Athletic Club.
Flamingo Athletic Club.
Where the Flamingo is, like Melrose Place.
Yeah.
And started training them all there. And like literally we were training 4-6 hours a day. Like basically what we did was we'd wake up at like 6 a.m. We'd go to the gym. Then we would go to the volleyball court. It was sand, and we do sand work. Then we go to the pool. We do pool work. Then we run the stairs. And then we go to the field, and then we go take a nap, and then we go party till like 4 a.m, and then we do it again. And we did that for like 4 months.
God damn.
And that was back when like athletes like really trained like really hard.
Yeah.
And now they don't really do that as much, but I mean some, but not as many.
Dude, and so you guys were working out for how long?
Like at least 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
All we did was work out, eat, and party. That was it. A little bit of sleep.
How long did you guys sleep?
Not very long.
Really, dude?
We probably slept like 3 hours a night, and then probably like 2 hours during the day.
So you're still getting 5 hours kind of total.
Kind of total.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I mean, it's bad. It's not that bad. Yeah.
But I mean, you're in your 20s, so you're good.
Dude.
Yeah. So I made a name for myself then, and then I ironically almost said it again. I must really like that word.
It's a good word.
It is.
Ironically, it's a good word.
I was training like nonstop. So I was training from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. like rolling, making a lot of money, doing really well. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, I need to go travel and I need a personal trainer. Would you do it? I'll pay you $10,000 a month."
And this is an NFL player.
No, this is a random dude. Random guy. I was one of those people that I love to say yes and then see what happens. I've always been like, for example, hey, if you shave your head, then you might get a job. And I did it.
Yeah.
So I was always that person that just did it and then figured it out.
Yeah.
So this guy says, "Will you be my traveling trainer?" And I literally just said yes on the spot. And
even though you had all those clients?
Even though I had so I gave this 24-year-old kid 27 clients on the spot.
What?
I literally was like, "Here's my clientele list. I'm out of here." I literally did that.
Were you making that? So you said 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Were you close to making that?
I was making more.
You were making more.
I was making more.
I'm sure.
But my schedule was like all day long. So I was making probably 18,000 a month at that time. Something like that. Mostly cash. I mean, I was doing well.
That's awesome, dude. 2,000 fucking what, 2?
Yeah, no, I was doing well. And I had the apartment on the water and the all that stuff. So
then you get the gig with this guy.
Yeah, so I get this offer. I say yes.
Yeah.
The next day I'm on a private jet going to Atlantic City. We go to Atlantic City. We get out. We go stay at this like penthouse situation. I mean, the guy was rolled. He rolled deep. And
was he fit already, or he?
Yeah, he looked like a healthy guy. So he's telling me all these stories about who he is, what he does, all this stuff. Because mind you, I don't know him from Adam. Like I don't know him at all.
So how did he find you? At the gym?
Yeah, he was a member of the gym. So we're in Atlantic City. I train him. Then we come back to Miami and start training him, and everything seems like normal.
Yeah.
Then I get another phone call and say, "Hey, we're going to LA to train." And actually, no, he flew to LA, and then he hits me up and goes, "I need you in LA. Come to LA." So he pays for the ticket, sends me out there. I show up, and he picks me up, and he takes me to Eddie Murphy's house, and we start to.
One of my other idols too, by the way. Yeah,
Eddie's
legit. That's yeah.
So we start to help Nicole Murphy, Eddie Murphy's wife, move out of Eddie's house. And so I'm literally like packing dishes and stuff. And like Eddie's mom came by one time and I was packing the dishes and she's like, "Who's this white boy in my house?" Like that. Like literally. And
that's hilarious.
So then I'm helping Nicole
were they like getting a divorce or something? Or
yeah.
I got it.
And then so I helped her move into her Manhattan Beach house. So I help her move then. Then, I mean, this went on for like 6 months, but
that's
make
wild.
a long story short, which is kind of impossible. The guy, it came down to like, I was with him for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And I only got that first payment. So after about 2.5 months, I'm like, wait a minute, I've been traveling with this guy and I didn't need anything because I mean, he's paying for everything, whatever. And then I was like, wait a minute.
So he's paying for your stay? You're like living with him or you have your
living
own place?
at Nicole Murphy's house at the time, like, or a hotel or like we were everywhere. We're moving and shaking, like a lot of traveling, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was wild. It's so many in between stories there, like crazy
I can imagine.
stuff.
So you were living at Nicole Murphy's house.
Yep.
But how did that happen?
Because they were best friends.
Nicole Murphy was best friends with this guy.
Yeah, and it's about to get even wilder.
Let's go, dude.
All right, so
I'm ready. Let me put the glasses back on for this one.
I know,
dude.
right?
Fucking, I told you I was gonna go.
So
back.
then I'm like,
you're gonna end with these glasses.
I'm like, wait a minute. I need to get paid. Like, what's up? And then he's like, oh no, we'll take care of that, later. And I'm like, no, I don't work like that. Like, I need to get paid now. So then he's like, let's go to dinner tonight, like that. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then so we go to eat dinner at sushi, and we're at dinner at sushi, at this sushi place in LA. And he literally starts telling me how he's in love with me.
Oh shit!
So then I'm like, fuck. And I was like, great, this guy.
What is he? Hold on.
And by the way,
how does this conversation like? I'm assuming you remember.
Like it was yesterday. Like, and by the way, like up until this point, no weirdness. Like no like gay hints or, you know, like bisexual hints or not, like nothing, like never inappropriateness. There was never anything like that. Bro. Anything. He was a very eccentric person. Like if he walked in here right now, he would have us all dying out laughing, like very gifted, very personable, whatever. So we're sitting at this sushi place and he's like, I'm in love with you. If you will let me be your lover, then you'll be the next Brad Pitt in Hollywood. He's like, I guarantee you. And I'm like, let me think about it. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, so I'm literally like, nah, man, that's, you know, no, you know. And then it got really weird where he's kind of like being pushy about it. So I was like, take me to the airport right now. I'm leaving. He takes me to the airport, literally drops it. By the way, I have no money. At this point, I have like no money. So I'm like, dadgummit. So somehow I figured out how to get home. I got back to Miami. I had already sold all my furniture. I didn't have any clients or whatever. I had to start over with everything.
Holy shit.
So I did. I started over, built an empire. That's a whole nother, that's too long. But this dude literally was like,
I'm in love with you. Told you that. And basically was telling you like, this guy basically confessed to being gay just so he couldn't pay you, basically. Like he didn't pay.
I mean, I guess.
Not really, but like,
but it gets even deeper. So there's a lot that happened in between them. Like, and actually the reason why I built myself back up so fast, I ended up being Scott Stapp, the former lead singer of Creed.
Oh, wow.
I ended up being his personal private trainer, security, nutritionist and all that. And so that's how I like came back real fast. But in the news story, you know, big news story.
Oh God.
This guy, Troy Stratos, you know, everybody can look him. He has his own American Greed story. Cons Nicole Murphy for $13 million.
This is the guy you were helping?
And that was the guy that hired me. So he was a known con artist. He's in prison to this day in Sacramento prison. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
That is wild.
Yeah.
So what I said was right. He was basically like confessing to be gay so he can get out of paying.
He was just a con man. He wasn't even gay. Like he was just a con man.
That's what I'm saying, dude. What if he wasn't even gay?
No.
Wow,
and like
bro.
he conned a bunch of like Saudi Arabian princesses. He conned a bunch of real estate people in Miami. Apparently he was like a notorious con man.
Holy shit.
Notorious. Yeah. Wild.
Damn, dude. Yeah. Was he like a guy in Hollywood or like what was
the reason why he was able to kind of get in there is his mom was a famous singer in Hollywood, an actress. And I can't remember her name, whatever.
Sure.
But that's how he was able to. So he actually, like, for example, I was taking singing lessons from Seth Riggs, who was Michael Jackson's singing coach. I was taking acting lessons from Matthew McConaughey's acting coach. I was, you know, living with Nicole Murphy. Like, so you're around all of it. I went to, who's that? I went to, what's that guy's name? Singer.
P. Diddy's party. I'm kidding.
Elton John. Yeah, close. I went to Elton John's birthday party. You know, like in your meeting, you're rubbing shoulders with all these celebrities and stuff. So you think he's legit. You know what I mean? You think he's legit.
Yeah.
So there was no reason up until that awkward moment where he's telling me he loves me. There was no reason to think that it was not real. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Wild, right?
That's insane. Yeah. What a fucking story.
Actually, I want to write a book called The Diaries of a Personal Trainer because I have so many stories like that.
I can only imagine.
Like tons of stories like that.
He's not the first that's confessed his love to you, right?
No, not the first. Definitely not the first. Male or female. So.
Oh, dude, I can imagine, bro.
Yeah. Personal trainers, you become more than a personal trainer. You're like a life coach. You're like, you know, confessional.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Like, you feel like close, attached to
That's why I stopped personal training. So,
I bet, bro. Now I give it up to anybody.
Athletes acted weird. Like everybody gets too
comfortable,
too attached to you. Like it's weird.
Well, because you're giving them you're like, oh my God, this person wants me to be better than I myself.
I know. Yeah.
So of course you're gonna have some sort of like, what's that called? Like that syndrome where you like feel like you're like extremely, well, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, you feel like you're just like connected to that person in a deeper level. Yeah, dude. I felt like that way with Ezekiel, and I was like, I'm falling in love with him. I can't do this anymore.
Ezekiel is amazing. He's amazing.
And now we're homies, but you know, it's at least I'm not in love with him.
Right. So. Well, not yet. Next episode, you confess your love for me.